here somewhere. You can't hide forever. You know that I'm going to find you. And the longer it takes me to find you, the worse it will be for you. Hello. Good to see you. You don't happen to see a little mouse scurrying around somewhere, do you? Just a little brown mouse. He has something of mine. No? Fine. I'll deal with him later. Hello. To what do I owe this undeniable pleasure of your company today? You have some questions for me. Well, you certainly know how much I love questions. Yes, I live to answer questions and to give everyone else all of my fount of wisdom all the time. You know how much I love that. What sort of nature are these questions? Are you asking about plants, perhaps, or different ingredients, different potions, something that you'd like to learn? No. Okay. Well, what sort of questions can I answer for you today? Questions about me. Okay. I think you're going to have to be a bit more specific. I don't particularly talk about myself all that often. There's a reason that someone lives in a cottage alone in the forest, and it's not to share with the world their life story. I can tell you that. You know, I happen to have some questions for you as well. Now, you've been in this town of Whisperwind for quite some time now. You've certainly made your mark here. You have people who consider you a friend, even close to family, really. But no one here really knows all that much about you, about where you came from, what you're doing in this little town. Yes, I know that you say that you're a traveler. Yes, of course. But why? From where? For what purpose are you here? There are all kinds of things that you have not been particularly forthcoming about. Now, you are certainly not the only person in Whisperwind to have secrets. Many people end up in this little town that looks so quaint and plain on the outside because, well, they want to be left alone from the rest of the world. It's created a close-knit but somewhat strange community the last while, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. So for the most part, I have respected your wishes to stay quiet, to keep your secrets about where you're coming from, where you're going, or what you're doing here. But if you happen to have questions for me, then perhaps we could ask each other some questions. Let's not mince words. I know that you are more than what you say you are. And you know that I am also more than what I say I am. Now, I am a healer who lives in the forest, who helps the people of Whisperwind and the surrounding areas. I make potions and elixirs and tinctures and salves and all kinds of things to help those around me. I absolutely do. But I think you know that there's more to the story than that. And you are a traveler who has come from somewhere distant to take up residence here in Whisperwind, and you have become a member of this community. There's no denying that. But I think you and I both know that there's more to the story than that too, isn't there? All right. What do you say then that maybe I brew us some tea, you and I. We can sit and we can ask each other these questions that we've probably had for quite some time. And perhaps finally be honest with each other. How does that sound? All right. Well, why don't you sit there and get comfortable. Keep your eye out for that mouse. I still need him. But I'll put some water on. We'll have some tea. And we'll chat. All right. It's lovely. How do you like yours? Good, good. You know, one of the things that I do take pride in is my variety of tea that I can offer visitors. Not that I get visitors very often. Personally, I like it that way. But when a visitor does come knocking, especially one with questions like you, I do have quite the array of teas to choose from. All right. So, these questions of yours. Why don't we start with just a bit of background, shall we? You have returned from another one of your mysterious journeys that you don't always share all that much about. And since you have returned, you have been a bit different. You really have. You've been a little more subdued, perhaps even a bit worried. Well, more worried. You really do seem as though you have the world resting on your shoulders. So, why don't we start with a bit more information about where you were? Oh, no. I'm asking the first question. This is my home. You've interrupted my day. I get to ask the first question. So, where were you this time? The truth, please, not some vague answer like, oh, away. I know you were away. Tell me where you were, and tell me why you were going there. Shadowmoor Forest. Well, I was told that you were somewhere dangerous, but I didn't realize it was there. Shadowmoor is a very, very strange place. It's full of quite strange creatures. Some that are not found anywhere else in this world. Not that I know of, anyway. It's an interesting place to choose to travel to. Now, why on earth did you have to go there? You lost something. Okay. That's again a bit vague, isn't it? You're good at those answers that say a little bit without saying too much. That's all right. This is just the first question. We'll warm up with that. You lost something, so you had to go to Shadowmoor Forest to find it. Now, did you find what you were looking for? You did. That's good. That's quite good, isn't it? Okay. That's probably enough for my first question, isn't it? All right. Now it's your turn. What question would you like to ask? It's perhaps a bit impertinent, just asking a woman straight out how old she is. How old do you think I am? Older than I seem. Well, that is very, very true. Yes, I am quite a bit older than anyone else that you may find in Whisperwind. Well, besides Sot. Not that she lives here, so she's a frequent visitor, but I'm older than anyone else in this area. Let's just say that. And it's been quite a long time that I've lived here. Well, you were vague when I asked you what you lost, weren't you? Okay then, we're warming up. I am older than I appear, yes. And I have not always lived in Whisperwind either. I'll give you that one. Well, I actually was born here in Whisperwind, but I left for a while. Went to a few different places, actually. And then I returned to this cottage here. I was born in this cottage, and then I left it empty for a while. And luckily, it was exactly the way I left it when I returned. So, I have been to a few other places in my time. Some of them that you have traveled to. Some of them that you probably have not. But maybe you will someday. Alright, my next question. In Shadowmoor Forest, like I said, there are quite a few very interesting creatures. There are also some very interesting people. Did you happen to meet anyone in your time in Shadowmoor Forest? You did. Right. I sort of surmised that much, I suppose. You see, within Shadowmoor Forest, there's a very peculiar house. I believe it's just known as the Manor House to anyone who doesn't live there. And it is the home of a very, very peculiar family. You did come across this family. Well, I am beginning to understand why you've been a bit different, a bit altered since coming home. It is a family of quite the variety of people. Some of them are kind, some of them are not, but all of them are very, very powerful. You know that. All right. So, was this item that you lost, that you had to recover, was it at this manor house? It was. All right, I'm going to need you to be a bit more specific now. Who at the manor house did you meet? Who did you speak to? Yes, I know their names. Yes, I do. Oh, would you like me to prove that first? Okay. If you want to know how. Well, like I said, I haven't always lived in Whisperwind. I heard rumors of that manor house, the people who lived there, and the things that some of them were doing, and I ended up staying there for a little while. I served as their resident healer, really. Everyone needs a good healer. Even people who are incredibly powerful, they don't know everything, do they? So, I served as their healer for a while. Watched 2 young girls grow up. Yes, I know quite a lot about them. So, which ones have you met, per se? Calypso. Yes. She's one of the kind ones, isn't she? You know, I don't think that she fully understands her power yet. I don't think she fully realizes who she is. Someday she will. Someday. You know, actually, the reason that I ended up leaving was because I didn't want her to know too much. I didn't want to hurt her. I didn't want to expose her to too much and awaken something inside of her. And the other daughter was starting to ask some questions of me, specifically. She was not very trusting of a little girl. One can hardly blame her the way that she was raised, unfortunately. But yes, we had a bit of a falling out. And I thought it best for everyone that I didn't live there anymore. Much to Calypso's sadness, but some things can't be helped, I suppose. You met the other daughter, too. Helena. Yes, that's right. She is quite the volatile spirit, isn't she? Yes. Yes, that's a good word for her. So you met her, and you met Calypso, searching for something in this manor house. What exactly was the nature of this something that you were searching for? A cuff. Okay. A cuff, like a bracelet, like a metal a cuff. And you found this cuff, you said. Why exactly were you looking for a cuff at this manor house? You know what it is, don't you? If you're going to keep asking me questions, you're going to have to answer mine eventually as well. You know about the Whisperwood relics. That actually explains quite a lot. Quite a lot. Oh, no. Most people in this town have no idea about any of that. About the relics, about the death of Panem, about all of that catastrophe that happened. I mean, I think Clea does now that she's been translating that journal. You know, I worked so hard to make sure that she would never get a translation stone, and then somehow she ended up with a translation stone. So now she's translating the journal. Oh well, I suppose it was really only a matter of time. She's quite curious and quite persistent. But Clea knows about the relics. Zot knows about the relics, but that's an entirely different story. And I know. And you know. What exactly is your purpose in finding these relics? Yes, I have heard about the prophecy. Zot told me, actually, shortly after speaking to you about it, I believe. Oh yeah, Zot and I go way back. Way back. Good old Zot and I. You know, Zot, she likes to have the appearance of just being a silly, nosy little peddler. But she knows far more about almost everything than she lets on. Oh, you've surmised that as well. Good, good. So this prophecy, you're trying to collect all of these relics and stop the end of the world from happening. Then you must also know about Calamus. Yes, he also lives at that manor house in Shadowmoor Forest. I doubt that you came into contact with him, otherwise I doubt that we would be speaking right now. But he certainly lives out there too. Yes, it's that Calamus. The Calamus from Penham's journal. That's him. It's actually the reason that I originally went out to the manor house, was to investigate after I heard rumors of this man and what he was doing. You see, Calamus and I go way back too. That's a story for another day. But suffice it to say, I understand the odds that you're up against. You have quite an uphill climb. Quite a few foes along the way. So you met Helena. Is she aware of what you were doing there? That's not good. She is quite a formidable enemy. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. I can see from your face, you know just how formidable she can be. Best to keep yourself safe from her. Best to do whatever you can to deter her. Oh, you have something that's going to help with that. Well, that's good. I hope it's enough. You think it is? All right. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. So, you now have the cuff. Do you have any of the other relics so far? Oh, the hourglass. All right. 2 down, 4 to go then, right? I may be able to help you find Penham's relic when the time comes. I know quite a bit about her. Quite a bit. But I'm not sure that I'm ready to help you in that way quite yet. I will need to try to summon Penham and speak with her before I'm willing to just give up something so valuable. But when the time comes and you have the other 3 relics that you still need, you come and see me and we'll discuss the location of Penham's relic, all right? But you've spoken to Penham. That's right. You said that you've met her and spoken to her, so you know firsthand exactly what happened. And her part in all of it, and now your part in all of it. All right, well, I still would like to discuss with her in person and confirm that. Not that I don't trust you, but this is all quite a lot to take in. I'm sure you understand. Okay. It's been a long time since I've known of these things and been doing what I can from the sidelines on my own. So it's almost a bit of a relief to have someone else that knows about the relics and who's taking such an active part in it. I mean, Zot has known about them probably since they were created, but she and the archivers have really been keeping sort of a back seat in all of this. The arc. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. No. If Zot hasn't mentioned the archivers, then you should wait and discuss that with her at a different time. Anyway, so you are in pursuit of the other relics. Do you have any leads on where they might be? Not yet. Well, my best bet would be probably speaking with Clea again. She's probably gotten quite a bit more of that journal translated by now. I would assume that maybe in her translations, in Penem speaking of her other companions, that you may get a bit of a lead on that. Or who knows, maybe now that Zot has taken more of an active interest, perhaps the next time she comes to town she'll have a bit more information for you as well. She's quite good at that, you know. She doesn't like to advertise that too much, but she is very good at getting information. Very good at it. So, here you are on this quest to find the relics, stop Calamus from getting such immense power, and hopefully save the world. That's no small potatoes, is it? Beginning to understand why you've been walking around looking like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. In a way, you kind of do. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make that feel heavier than it is, but I think you already know how heavy that is. Yeah, I believe you do. Well, like I said, I am going to need to consult with Penem's ghost. But as long as you've been telling me the truth, which I do believe that you have been, I don't see why I can't perhaps offer you some assistance, if that is the case. I'm not sure that you want me traveling with you. Not yet, anyway. Perhaps someday. Right now, I think I may raise more attention than you want. Well, like I said, I haven't always lived in Whisperwind. There may come a time when you hear more of my past, and a few things will make some sense. Not yet. There is a limit to the questions that I'm going to answer. I think I've given you quite a lot to think about, though, haven't I? Yes. You've given me quite a lot to think about as well. It's nice to finally know the deeper purpose of you being here in Whisperwind. And knowing that you're not here to cause harm to her inhabitants. I may be a recluse who lives out in the forest, but I still very much care about the people who live in Whisperwind. It's not something that I was anticipating, really, but this place kind of grows on you. And the people here, they're good people. I would hate to have to make an enemy of you if I thought that you were going to cause them harm. But as of now, it doesn't seem like that's the case, which is excellent. Perhaps you and I can continue to be a bit more honest with each other in the future. Good. I would like that. And I would like to be able to help keep you safe, keep the relics safe. Wait a moment. A while ago, you came in here and you asked for something to help protect or conceal some very powerful items. That was the relics. That makes sense, that makes sense. Yes, that tincture that I made you should work very well. Cloaking their magical abilities. I mean, if someone was looking directly at them or something, it may not be quite powerful enough, so good to still keep them somewhere safe, somewhere contained, where you can keep an eye on them and someone like Helena is not going to just happen across them. But for now, that should be a good safety precaution. What other creatures have you come across in your journeys? Is there something else that I could maybe help to protect you from? Vampires. Yes, I'm sure that you have met a few of those in the places that you've been traveling to. Unfortunately, you will probably come across more as your journey continues. You see, vampires were also sort of created by Calamus, accidentally almost, in his pursuit of power. And the first few of them were reluctant victims, but now they have grown, multiplied, and there are people who have eagerly chosen to become vampires. Yes, they are quite formidable. They can be. You know, if you'd like, I could actually, I could make you sort of a repellent to vampires. Yes, it's something that if you are in an area where you think that you may come across vampires, that you just take a sip. Just one single sip of it. And it won't cause you any harm, but it will just sort of deter vampires and other sort of evil, dark forces as well. I don't know that it will be completely useful against Helena, but it will probably help. It'll just be something that feels off to her, and so if she's trying to protect herself, she may very well go the other way. It might help to keep you a bit safe from her, and will definitely help to deter vampires. They won't want to come anywhere near you. Does that sound like something that may be useful? Good, good. Let's see, that one, I haven't made that one in quite some time. Going to need to look that one up. Here. Let's see. It's a recipe that I developed many, many years ago. Let's just say that. Let's see. Wraiths, demons, vampires. Here we go. Vampire Paralyzer. That one is useful, but you do have to actually be able to give it to the vampire, which is, by that time you were probably already in danger. But where is the... Ah! Here we go. Vampire Repellent. Yes, I have all of this. Oh, I'm running a bit low on that, but that's alright. We should have enough for our purposes here. Yes, yeah, I can make this for you. This would be a nice little safety precaution that you could carry with you on your journeys. And then, just in case you ever happen to be somewhere where you're hearing rumors that sound like vampires, like I said, just take a sip. It should last about a day, and if you're still in danger, then you can take another sip the next day. But Yeah, I think that would be probably a good thing for you to have. All right, well, you sit there, you keep drinking your tea. I'll get the supplies and things that we need, and we'll get started, okay? All right. All right. I think that's everything that we should need for this one. It's been a little while since I've made a vampire repellent. Not something that I get orders for very often. But considering where you have found yourself recently and where you will, unfortunately, probably continue to find yourself, probably be a good idea to have. All right. Now this recipe is a bit different than some of the other ones I've made for you. This one will need to boil in our cauldron a little bit here, instead of just mixing it up. So I've got this under a low heat here, so everything will sort of simmer for a while. And then I'll package it up for you, probably in this right here. Just a nice little bottle. But this one is going to take a little bit of doing. So let's get started. We'll start with this one as the base. This is moon water. Nothing incredibly dangerous or anything about this. Just fresh, clean water that's been blessed by the full moon. It's an excellent base to potions. Excellent base to help enhance the magic of all the other ingredients. Serve as a nice neutral base so that nothing reacts negatively. So we'll start with some of that. Just the moon water. It will start to simmer there to the heat. One of these. I may have used one of these with you before, I'm not quite sure. These are fizzing crystals. They only grow in very, very rare caves. There's actually one not too far from here. Unfortunately, it's infested with little moss goblins, so you do have to be careful when you harvest them. But they are very powerful in cleansing and purifying. Things like that. So vampires don't particularly like these. just one of these. Put it into here. You'll start to hear it fizz almost immediately. Just the one is all we need. Continue to fizz a bit. Alright, next up. What should we do next? Salt. I use this in almost every recipe that I create. It's an excellent base for things. It's excellent at cleansing, at enhancing the power of things. Particularly things like evil spirits. They don't like the purity of salt. Mix it up a bit, yeah. There we go. There we are. Excellent. It's a very powerful addition to our other ingredients here. Now this next one is a very, very rare ingredient. It's one that I get specifically from fire fairies. No one else knows how to make it. No one else knows how the fire fairies make it or where they get it from. In fact, they absolutely will not tell you if you ask them. Trust me, I've tried. But it's a very, very powerful ingredient, especially for vampires who are generally seen as creatures of the night. Here, this is called bottled sunshine. It is, in essence, the power of the sun that you can hold in your hand. This is one of the ingredients that I have that I honestly don't fully understand. That's rare, but in this case, the fire fairies insist. In fact, it actually took quite a while to convince them to even give me any. But it is a very, very powerful ingredient and a good repellent for creatures who draw their power from the night. Not too much of this one. There we are. There. That should do it. Move that over to the side. There. All right. That's all simmering very nicely now. Now let's add in a bit of this one. This is skull powder. It's got a few different uses. It can be used as a positive thing to help us, to help ground us, to help us remember where we come from, and sometimes to calm plagued thoughts. But it also helps to repel vampires because they are not entirely human anymore once they've turned. This is sort of a reminder of them, of what they used to be. There we are. Now, people may be turned into vampires for all kinds of reasons. They may wish it. Many people are turned against their will, unfortunately. But either way, there's something about their humanity that is damaging to them once they are no longer fully human. Here, let's do this one next. This is Imp Ashes. Now, imps are sort of like lesser demons. They're quite small. They sort of do the demon's bidding. And since vampires have some sort of relation to demons in a way, something like the ashes of one of their servants is not something that they particularly enjoy. There we are. There. Let's get some more of those. That one's almost empty, isn't it? Not all that easy to come by. Imp ashes, as I'm sure you are aware. But I manage. All right. This ingredient is another very powerful one. Alder tree bark. Now, the alder tree is it's a tree full of much wisdom. The alder tree offers protection to travelers, to all kinds of people from the trickster, the unknown dangers that lurk in wait for us. The alder tree can give us discernment, can give us perception of those sorts of dangers. But it also serves as a deterrent to vampires. I don't know if you know the story of the wooden stake, of piercing a vampire's heart with a wooden stake, and that's one way that you can kill them. It's not quite that black and white, I suppose. Over the years, stories and folklore and things like that tend to become very simplified, and people forget the reason behind them. But wood is an element of the earth, and vampires are not entirely of this earth anymore. And so that's why wooden objects can harm them. So there we are. fizzing crystals will help to dissolve those little pieces of bark. Really release its full magical potency. While it simmers there. Now, another token from the earth that we'll add in here is this one. Another ingredient from the fairies. You know, fairy magic being sort of averse to vampire magic, it actually rather makes sense because fairies are, in essence, basically an embodiment of the magic of this world. And so their magic is sort of at a juxtaposition to the magic of the vampires. This is flora fairy dust. Flora fairies are the ones who are responsible for plants growing, for anything that has to do with the nature of the earth around us. And their dust can be used as a grounding, a security for those of us who belong to this land, and can serve as a deterrent to those who do not. Excellent. Good, good. That's looking very good now. All right. One final ingredient. This one is perhaps a bit unassuming to some people, but it is incredibly, incredibly powerful. This one right here. These are dried rose petals. A lot of people sort of disregard the magical power of something they consider far more common. Rose is a symbol of peace, of love, of self-love. And while that may seem like it's not quite as powerful as some of these other ingredients we've included, it is vital to our well-being, to so many things in this world. It's a shame that people don't put more stock in the power of self-love and of finding peace both in yourself and with others. Going to crush this up. Then grind it up nice and fine to release the oils. this brush and just consolidate all of that. Brush it right into our cauldron. There we are. There's a bit left on here too. There. Make sure we get all of that in there. Sometimes gentle ingredients are also the most powerful. Fighting darkness with love, peace. Don't underestimate the power of that. All right, now we will need to let that just simmer for a little while. As it simmers, we're going to bless it as well with our sage here. Just like the end of this. I'll put it right, basically sort of into the cauldron so that the smoke really permeates through the ingredients there as it cooks. There we are. There. See that smoke waft. Cleansing, purifying power of sage. This will also help just in case there are any sort of negative reactions, seeing as most of those ingredients that we used are quite powerful. Just in case there's any sort of negative byproduct of any of those ingredients being combined. The sage will cleanse that. Then it will bless our mixture with a little extra purity. There. All right. Should do it. Right. Just let that sit there. Continue to smoke a little bit. Nothing wrong with a little additional cleansing for us as well. And now we'll just let this sit. Let it simmer for just a little while. And then I will bottle it up for you. Alright? Put that over there for now. We put some of these other ingredients away while we're waiting, okay? Looks like the perfect consistency. that should do it. So, like I said, all you need from here is one sip if you ever feel that you may be in danger of vampires. And this bottle should last you quite a while, so, I mean, even if you just are going somewhere unknown, it might be a good idea to just have a little sip of this. And if you ever need more, of course, you're welcome to return. I can make you up another batch, too. But hopefully this will help give you a little better peace of mind. Yeah. Well, I suppose you probably don't know when you're going to be leaving again yet. Okay, well, you know, speak with Clea, perhaps Sot. It may take some time, I suppose, but I'll keep my ears to the ground as well. You see, one of the benefits of being somewhat old is that you get to know lots of people. And oftentimes those people have some very good information. So, I'll spread the word. See if there are any sort of rumors floating around the kingdom. Oh, don't worry, it's all very secure and hush-hush, and I won't go into too much detail about any of it, but it may give us a lead to something. You never know. All right, well, here. Why don't you take that for now? Oh, that one's on the house. Don't worry about it. Like I said, as long as I can speak with Penham and confirm your story, I have nothing against helping, now that I know what you're doing here. So, if there's anything like this nature that I can do for you, by all means, I will. All right? Okay. Well, I hope that I have helped to answer some of those burning questions that you may have had. Good, good. You've answered quite a few of mine, too. I appreciate the honesty. I think you and I still have quite a bit to learn about each other, but I think we may have more in common than we think. Yeah. I think we might. Anyway, it looks like it's going to start getting dark out there pretty soon. It gets dark so early these days, doesn't it? That's all right. We're past the solstice, so the days are starting to get longer again. It's just obviously going to take some time, but you'd better start heading back to town if you want to make it out of the forest before it goes dark, which I know you know is a good idea. So you'd better take that with you, wrap it up nice and safe, and I suppose I'll see you next time that you might have some more questions or need something else. All right. Take care of yourself. Take care of those relics. And just know that I'm here if ever you need something. All right? All right. Well, until next time then, I suppose. Be safe.